I'm Rihanna Major and I'm doing business studies with the finance pathway, and I've chosen to do the research project.
Great. Could you tell me why you chose the research project?
I chose it because personally I didn't want to do a group project for my dissertation. I didn't want to have to rely on other people. So for me it was between reflective practitioner and the research project, and I thought that I've already done a research proposal in second year and I did reasonably well on that. So for me I thought the research project would probably be better, and I didn't think I could do something as so descriptive and write that many words on it.
Brilliant. So could you tell me what your project is exploring and why you selected this particular area?
I'm doing my dissertation on women in management in the automotive industry. I chose it because I did my placement at Porsche, so obviously I had experience in the area, and whilst I was working there I noticed that there really was a lack of women in management positions at the centres, so I sort of wanted to understand why. I did have other options, but once I started researching them all, I realised that that had a gap in the literature, and I thought it would be easiest to write about that and write a good dissertation on that.
Brilliant, thank you. So does it relate to your placement experience?
Yeah, it does relate. I think it's probably easier to do it on something that you've had experience in, so you've got sort of a personal opinion on it, especially because I'm doing quantitative. You have to create hypotheses, and if you've got your own personal opinion it's probably a bit easier to create those sort of hypotheses. Yeah, basically the same reasons. I noticed a lack of women and I couldn't find any research on it, so
Brilliant.
that's why I did it.
Lovely, thank you, very interesting. Do you have any advice that you could offer the current placement students?
I'd say definitely get as many contacts on LinkedIn, because when I've come to do my survey I've posted it on LinkedIn and so many people from my placement have done it, so it's been a really useful tool to get as many responses as possible, and you need a minimum of 100, so it's quite a lot. I'd say everyone says start early, but I wouldn't necessarily panic about it. Like, I wouldn't start now. When I got these videos and people were saying like start thinking about it now, I felt a bit of pressure to start then, but you don't really need to, just as long as you've got some ideas. And then once it comes to sort of the deadlines, I'd say as long as you get your research proposal in on time, I'd say from then on try and do everything a bit earlier than the deadlines, because your next deadline isn't until February and that's quite a long time not to do anything.
Sure.
So I'd say try and stay quite a bit ahead of the deadlines at that point. Other than that, I'd say it's better to get the project idea right than start on something that you're really unsure about and just run with it because you can't think of anything else. So don't stress about it and just really think about it at the time. Potentially you might need to start researching different projects so you know a bit about it, because when I started doing mine, like, I really was unsure where I was going to go with it, like what research I'd actually do, but when I looked into it and I found the gap, it made a lot more sense to me. And I'd also say contact your supervisor quite early, and if you build a good relationship with them it makes it a lot easier. And when you go to meetings, sort of create like a list of questions as you're going through your dissertation, and every time you think of a question write it down, because otherwise you do just forget and you get in the meeting and you've got no idea what you're talking about. So
Brilliant.
yeah,
Lovely.
I'd say that.
That's brilliant, that's very useful. Thank you very much for your time.